Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Vinod. Today we're going to talk about company Nikola. I would like to focus on three key points in this video. One is we look at Nikola's stock performance and also look at the reasons why stock is down for the last 3 weeks. Secondly, we would look at then some news which is around Nikola, which is driving the stock down, as well as let's look at short interest as well as what's next for this particular stock. Before we start on Nikola's stock performance, if you're new, please do like this video as well as subscribe, which will help me to create more content like this. Quickly jump into the stock performance now. Today, which is 21st of July, Nikola's share is trading around $41. It's up 6.8% from yesterday. And again, as you guys can see that yesterday the stock was down around 21%. So you guys can see that the stock had a high of $91 or $92 per share on 9th of June, which is in line with most of the stocks on the market because everything ran up till 8th of June and then some are down from there on. But I think primarily this stock is down due to two reasons. One is I think people who did not buy initially trying to buy in, which I kind of covered in my previous video, which I will link in, which I've highlighted saying that don't buy this stock at these levels, which kind of is in line with how the stock is currently performing. I had called out at like 64 levels that if you're a retail investor, if you're considering investing, don't touch Nikola. So, and again, I think my price target, which was for Downturn, was around 32 levels. I think stock is around 40. I think it's in the next week's time, the stock should be at around 30 levels. And again, I've tried to answer that question in my previous video. I may be considering buying as a speculative stock at 30 levels. And again, I may not put in all my cash into this. I may be just investing probably 10% of what I want to invest at 30 pounds, say $30, for example. Okay. The two reason why the recent downturn for the stock, let's quickly cover that point. So one of the reason I think some of you would have seen in the news, they're planning to sell 21%. Sorry, it was down 21%. They're planning to sell 24 million additional shares, but it's not just 24 million additional shares, but also the existing shareholders are looking to sell up to 53 million shares. So there are two different news, right? One is they want to raise capital by selling additional shares. One of the key information you need to know is how many shares are there and what it does to dilution, what it does to the company. Secondly, the existing shareholders are planning to sell 53 million. When the Nikola company was listed, there are some obligations where the existing, shareholders can't sell for a certain period of time. So once that lockdown period is over, they can freely sell on the open market. So what's happening here is, I think if there is too many people selling and not many people buying, the share price will go down. So thinking that, I think the one of the key points what company Nikola are trying to do is raise capital so that they have enough money in the bank. So currently they don't have any products. And they have a limited resource, which means less operating cost. So if they have more money and then they have already sold the concept to the market, so they can use that money, hire some good engineers and develop a product which will be a decent product. So that's what they're trying to do currently. But I think if you're an investor, you should be, as I said, the word which I used in my previous video, this is dodgy. Okay. Quickly jump into the current shareholding pattern. So if you look at it, current outstanding shares are 360 million. So just to say, this is double the amount of shares which Tesla currently has, which is around 180. If you see float, it's 1/3, considering most of the shares are held with the CEO of the company. Secondly, if you see that 126 million is the current float, and then this is where the additional 21 million will be added. I think when Tesla listed, again, I'm taking a Tesla as a comparison because that's the EV company which we can take. 10 years ago, when they were listed only like 26 million shares in their initial IPO. And from there on, they every year, depending on the growth, they've added some more shares to raise capital. But I think starting with 126 million and in a 2 months time adding 21 million, this is just ensuring that they can take the money when it's on the table. So that way, when the stock tanks later, let's say if you bought in and then they raise the money and then they don't deliver on their promises, the stock would tank. That means you would lose money, but they still have the money in their bank to do whatever they want. So that's why the stock is down for the last 2 weeks, and it will continue downturn. And some of you maybe, who are all day traders who are looking into Nikola, or if you're an investor, you may ask, like, why is this, jumps we see, let's say today 6%, and let's say a week before there was a 25% move. There are odd, big runs. You may ask me why. This is to do with short squeeze. There is a high fee for Nikola. If you want to short the stock, you need to pay a high fee. So what happens is, let's say if you shorted at say 40 levels or 38 levels yesterday, and then so you will have your stop losses and so on. So, and if the stock rises too much and you need to cover it, that means you need to buy it at the higher price. So there are similar guys who, like you, who are shorting, so they may need to pay more to cover. So that's why the stock appreciates quite a lot quite soon. So that's the concept of short squeeze, or short covering. That's the only reason. When you see green, there is no positive news. There's no turnaround or nothing fundamentally changed. It's just how the short covering is taking place in the market. That's the key driver why this is. So if you're just playing for that up move, so you need to be careful, because you may be locked. If you just bought it in and then next week or two, as you guys can see, if you bought it here, the 2 weeks, it's still down. The stock needs to still sell a bit more, because as soon as like when people start selling the other news, the current existing shareholders, that means because of the news, I think people wouldn't buy, which means the stock value goes down. So I would still reiterate my not buy at this point of time. So don't even dare, but have a look at the stock. Like it's a good use case to understand some of these companies who are selling dreams, and they don't have product, and they have one CEO. Other than Trevor Milton, if I ask anybody, do you know who else works in Nikola? Nobody would know that, because he's just following what Elon Musk does. Be in Twitter, just answer to people. And also, if you look at this is funny, and again, this is just me nitpicking on Nikola. If you see the design what he used, I think some of you are familiar with Cybertruck. How the Cybertruck is presented with this particular style of letters, and they're just copying what Tesla does. And again, I'm not saying they shouldn't copy, but again, do something on your own. Like when they wanted to develop an hydrogen product, when Tesla doesn't have that, stick to your guns in terms of what somebody else is not doing. And again, they just want to run on this EV euphoria, where like now after this COVID or pandemic, everybody realizes EV is the future, and Tesla is the future for EV market. But again, as I made another video on Ford, there will be market share for everyone. Nikola will get its share if it plays well. And again, they're just selling too much of dream without a product, which is quite bad. End of the day, anyhow, so we need to keep an eye out on the stock. As I said, the stock may go down to 30 levels, and like we need to have speculative play in our portfolios. There are not much stocks where you get quick run. So if you are somebody who are looking at making quick money, or want to lose quick money, Nikola is the stock for you. But again, what I would say is, you don't want to invest in if you can't lose that money. So if you're worried about losing money, don't get into Nikola. So I think some of the guys whom I talk to, they would say like, okay, we make 10x from here, 5x from here. There are fundamentally good companies whom you can invest in. I think one of them, which I would say is space stock, Virgin Galactic. So have a look at that video where I think went into in depth. They are selling a dream, but they're developing technology at the same time, and you can see evidence of it. They're just not in Twitter just telling I'm doing this or building that. So that's my take on Nikola. And again, if it was helpful, please do like the video. As I said, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm investor in stocks. As you guys can see in other videos, I would show all the investments I make, so that way you can follow if you like that company. So please do subscribe for the channel, which shows that people are watching, and I can make more content like this. Thank you for watching, and wherever you're in the world, take care. Be